Hi, I'm Jenny with the Forest Daisy. I'm going to show you how I created some Valentine's Day wreaths and door hanger decor. If you enjoy crafting, DIY projects, and other home decor ideas, please subscribe to my channel. This first project was created with mostly Dollar Tree supplies. I grabbed one of the heart-shaped wreath frames and then hot glued the end of red burlap ribbon at the bottom of the frame. I wrapped the ribbon around the heart and then I left some spaces in between the burlap because I wasn't sure if I would have enough to completely cover the whole frame. Then glued the other end down. I began gluing an assortment of flowers that were different shades of Valentine's colors and tried my best to mix the colors and type of flower. I also had some fake rosemary sprigs that I got at Walmart, and I glued those around the wreath in between the flowers to add a touch of greenery. I saw a wine cork heart wreath on Pinterest, so I decided to create my own. I took a piece of cardboard and folded it in half and cut half of a heart shape into it so it would create a full heart when opened. Then I folded that in half and cut another heart out of the middle. I had a collection of wine corks that I got at a garage sale and the thrift store, and I put hot glue on one end and placed the corks onto the heart with two side by side. Some of the corks still had a wine stain on them, so I placed those ones face up randomly throughout the heart so that it added some color. And some of the corks had different letters or years stamped into them, so I spread those out as well. I went in between most of the corks and put hot glue in there so the wreath wouldn't bend so much. Then I glued moss around the edges of the heart on the inside and outside. And I took more moss and glued it into some of the gaps in between the corks. And I also glued some up the sides of the wine corks too. I turned the heart over and hot glued some wood craft popsicle sticks to create a type of support for the heart since the corks were a bit heavy for the cardboard. And I cut some of them in half to fit better along the top of the heart. And I created a hanger by tying a knot in a strip of jute rope and glued that in the back of the heart and covered it up with a piece of scrap ribbon to help keep it down. This 18-inch wreath frame is from Dollar Tree, but you can get them at other craft stores. I had some pink and purple pipe cleaners that I believe came from Walmart. I put a pipe cleaner underneath the wire that runs vertically across the rings, pulled both ends up and twisted them together a few times so it stayed on the frame. Then I tied another pipe cleaner to the frame, but that one went on the middle ring, and I kept going around the frame. I used 13 pipe cleaners in total, and I did not fill out the whole frame for this wreath because I added a sign which will be seen coming up at the end. I wanted to use up some deco mesh that I had left in my craft stash. I usually get my mesh at craftoutlet.com. These are the 10-inch rolls. I took the pink one first and spread it across my cutting mat. Then I cut a piece at the 10-inch line with my rotary cutter, which I will have linked in the description. I cut 13 pieces. Then I followed the same steps for the white and black mesh, and I made a pile of each color. To create a mesh bundle, I picked a piece of mesh and laid it flat. Then I used my fingers to scrunch the mesh together from one side to the other, and it makes a sort of bow tie shape. I wanted to show that you can use a clothespin or a clip to keep the mesh pieces in place, but I messed up and just pinched the mesh in between my fingers like I normally do. And then I put a piece of pink on top of the black, but angled it in a different direction and did the same for the white piece. Then I tied the bundle onto the frame with the first pipe cleaner. I continued creating bundles and alternated the order of colors. I have seen crafters do bundles on 2 cross sections first, then add a bundle in the middle, but I like to just move on to the very next pipe cleaner. Once all of the bundles are on, I went around and adjust the mesh if needed. I got this cute Valentine sign at Dollar Tree that says "Be Mine." I turned it over and glued pipe cleaners at the top and bottom and used a craft stick to keep it in place. Then I put that in the open section of the frame and tied it onto the wreath. I also finished the wreath with more Dollar Tree accents. I cut strips of this heart print ribbon at 10 inches, folded the ends into quarters, and cut a dovetail shape in each one. And I did 13 pieces of ribbon for each mesh bundle. I also scrunched the center of the ribbon together and tied them into the pipe cleaner that way. I like to position the ribbon at different angles. After that, I cut off the remaining ends of the pipe cleaners and twisted those down as flat as possible. And I removed these glittery hearts from the wooden pick that they were on with some wire cutters, and I hot glued one of those hearts in the center of each piece of ribbon, which helped cover up the pipe cleaner. I found this Valentine's tinsel decor at Dollar Tree. To take it apart, I cut one of the links off, but I didn't realize that they can just snap apart. And then I removed all of the tinsel and cut off the plastic parts around the heart that the tinsel was attached to. I hot glued some fake pink flowers to fill the heart in, threaded some pink and white gingham ribbon through the loop at the top of the floral heart, and I tied it to a Dollar Tree heart-shaped bead wreath. Then I created a bow with some ribbon and glued a piece around the middle of the bow to cover up the string that I used to tie it together, and I glued that onto the top of the heart. For this next wreath, I used a faux evergreen wreath that has been in my supply stash for a while. It is possibly from Joann's from a previous holiday season. Then I took a red tinsel garland that I had from Dollar Tree or Dollar General from the past as well. I put the end into the wreath and twisted the greenery around to secure it. Then I moved the tinsel up and tied that section on, then went in the opposite direction and kept repeating that pattern until I went all the way around the wreath. Since I still had some garland left over, I pulled it through the wreath and then wrapped it around in spread out sections. I cut most of the stems off more of these Dollar Tree heart picks. I glued a pink one on the bottom right side, put a red one on the bottom left side, then put two more hearts on top and switched the sides they were on so each color was diagonal from each other. I added on some foam hearts that my mom gave to me, but I think they might be from Walmart. But I have seen some other hearts like this at Dollar Tree, and I put one of those in between each of the glittery hearts. I also wrapped this heart wire garland around the wreath and made sure that I went in between each section of the hearts as well. And I cut off the excess and tied the end into the back of the wreath. Last up, I used another one of those plastic frames that came from the three tinsel hearts from earlier. After I removed the tinsel and plastic pieces, I hot glued pink plaid ribbon from Craft Outlet and completely covered the heart. Then I glued two pieces of the Walmart rosemary at the point of the heart, having the rosemary go up the side, and did two more pieces on the opposite side. And then I finished it by filling in the space with three fake flowers. I don't remember exactly where I got the flowers, but they probably came from Dollar Tree or Walmart, and you can always find more flowers at a craft store like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Thank you so much for watching.